Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. Today we're doing Tottenham against West Ham. Now, there's a couple of things I'm going to point out at the start of this about Tottenham's Hotspurs and their style of play. Now, I did get a little chance to watch the first half, and it's the first time I've really sat down and watched Tottenham play. Normally, when it was like, what did I say? I think it was it Tottenham-Chelsea I was watching that game? I was more trying to watch what Pochettino was doing with Chelsea than Pochettino with Spurs. So I did that a little bit with Spurs, and I'm going to break down when I get some good sort of footage of them. They're playing what's called a modified Brazilian box. And when you understand, if you know what the Brazilian box was for all the 70s and the 80s, they don't do it so much anymore because they don't really have the personnel. And I think they're really down to sort of they get away from that system, which they shouldn't. It's kind of what they're doing. And when you see it, you can't unsee it. You go, oh, yep, that completely makes sense. That's why the ball gets rotated the way it does. That's why they don't change the way that they're doing it, because they're always going to be playing the same way, because that's what they're doing. Makes complete and utter sense. But right now, we're looking at this corner coming in. And when you're playing against that sort of system against someone like West Ham are a city-in team. That's what I like to call them. You know, they sit in and they defend. They're not necessarily going to come out and try to push 19 players forward and, you know, try to score goals on you, beat you 5-0. They sit in, keep it tight, and they, you know, after a solid sort of defensive, good at least first half, then they'll try to get onto your second half. And if you look at the way they score their goals, that's pretty predominantly how it happens. So they don't really give up goals from set pieces, but this is one of those ones that I'm going to show you. It's pretty, there's not much they could really do from the set piece. As you can see, the ball's coming in here. He's just completely and utterly out-jumped. He's jumped up early, he's completely and utterly out-jumped, he's marked, so I can't really rag on the defender. Everything West Ham are doing is kind of decent. I mean, there's not much you can do better. Keeper's in a good spot. Normally I'd be howling for someone to be on the post, but this is such a good header, it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. Bosh, and then it goes, and it's right into a place where nobody can get to. Overall, it's a decent goal, but it's decently defended as well at the same time. There's not much you can really rag on them about, which I'm kind of disappointed about, if I'm honest. So let's get on to the next goal and see what I can yell about. Okay, here we go, and we're going to try to explain this Brazilian box, even though it's not exactly, because they're on the counter-attack and they're not set up properly. Right, so normally you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your box, okay? What it's set up to do is to have these two players here, 1 and 2, always in front of the central defenders here. And the point of that is, let's see if I can get rid of this and do a little bit better for you guys. You've got this little box structure, right? So imagine this is where your box is right here. Now, clearly that's not here, but this is one of the ways you break the Brazilian box, is you come it through the flanks, you come it through here. So remember, you've always got this 4 here. So what you've really got effectively is a whole bunch of triangles to pass the ball around at the back. If you're ever in trouble, you can just keep the ball and you just keep it here, right? And then you've got your players out wide. So let's just keep that Brazilian box in mind again. There's the central box, but then you've got your wide players here, right? So at any point, you've got another triangle out here that you can ping to, and another triangle you can ping to. Okay, but remember, if they're in trouble, they can go back through their main triangles and go back to the other side again. Now then you've got your 3 up front, and the key with your 3 up front is you've got to keep, this isn't the Brazilian box, this is the modified version of it. It's where you've got these people out wide up here, which is stretching everybody, because if you've got these players wide, defensively they're stretched. And then what you've got, I just screwed that all up. Let me just do that again. Then what you've got with your players up wide, let's go 1, 2, 3. You've got your 4 here in your little box, and that's your unit that stays in defence for your team. Okay, and then you've got your floater. And the floater, all of these players are interchangeable. These 2 are interchangeable. And the whole key about it, what it is to get to 3. What do you mean, get to 3? So the box always stays the same and it moves up and down the field. Remember, this player can come out over here and he can come out and cover him here. And the box rotates and floats. But also what happens is get to 3. So your left back and your right back can go as far forward as they want when you're attacking and have no problems, because you've always got 4 defending. Right, so as those 4 are always defending, you've always got the advantage of pushing up your left and right back in every single attack. So that means you can exploit these half spaces, kind of like what Man City do in the half spaces, and they do it a different way, but I'll talk about that some other time. But what you're trying to do is get to the 3. So when this guy comes up here, you've got 3 players and you're pinging the ball around. If they're in trouble, it goes back, goes around, blah, 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 and it goes back again. But you're always trying to connect with 3. You don't care which three it is, and you don't care how the three are. But the three just keep pinging the ball around until you make up the space, or you get up the field, or you get the half space open and you play it through. But you don't necessarily move the four out of the back. That's why they play the ball around so much at the back to start with, because that's their defensive unit, that's their defensive shape. They want to keep that solid. But if it breaks, which we're about to watch, you just get carved open. So until you understand that, you get carved open. And that's why they've won so many games, but when they don't have their proper centre-backs in there, they get carved open a little bit. And that's okay, because eventually they'll get better at it, those other guys, and they won't. So let's just play this forward now. As this starts to move, you can see they're inside the box. So imagine if you're doing a training drill, if you've got 4 people on the outside, 4v2, that's exactly what's going on now. But of course, the 4 can't pressure the 2 because 2 of them are out of the game. And these 2 can't do it because if they do, they just go straight to the goal. Right, so let's move this on. As we can see, Bowen's moving forward with the ball. Quality little player, to be fair. Knocks it out wide. Now, this is where their system should come into play, and it should be brilliant, right? You can see this guy. What's our rule on this channel? If he's got his hand up, they're about to score a goal. He's telling somebody what to do. Boom, we can see him. And someone's about to score a goal because of it. Now, what should happen is he should slide over there. But remember, these 2 are on like a piece of string almost. So if he pulls over there, he needs to go with him and start covering that gap there. And not just keep it as a flat box, right? Let's just see what happens as this goes. Bosh, bosh, bosh. He doesn't get close enough. He doesn't get tight to him. He starts to move over now as he realises his teammate isn't going towards the ball. And it's all a little bit too late. And this guy, honestly, he's just not doing anything. Goes to have a shot because neither of these 2 close him down. They both get to get there eventually, but it's not quick enough. And to be honest, I don't think these 2. I think that one guy's one of their centre midfielders, but I don't think both of them are. And then all that happens is the ball takes a ricochet because that guy shouldn't have been there, and all of a sudden he gets an easy free tap into the goal. Do you see how simple that is? Like one guy shouldn't be there, and now it's an unlucky goal because he's the reason why it bounces off him and a ricochet because he's overdone something that shouldn't be needed for the system, and he just smashes it into the net box. It's that simple. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, so now what we're looking at is we've got our back 4, but we can't see the box, right? We can see that, but we can't really see the shape of our box here. It's not working out, but we can kind of see our back 4 there. Here's the problem with all of this, though. When you're doing this, or you're coaching, or you've always got what's called reset positions or starting positions. So what your reset or starting position would be is we rotate it to the goalkeeper, we all get back and we all set, so we're actually all in the right place and we're all in the right frame of mind where we're supposed to be. This is what this guy tries to do. He tries to pass it back to the keeper to reset positions. Look, he's out here. There's no one out here wide. He doesn't want to play the ball forward because it's too risky because it's threading the eye of a needle there. So he just turns around without thinking about it and does reset position, right? Because you can see this right now. This is probably the closest to the little box you can see. This is kind of what they do. See that? That's exactly what they're looking to do. But no one's really in their set position and they're not really set up yet. Okay, so as he goes to roll it back, though, his rate of pass to the keeper is so poor. He's rolled it so poorly. Now, here's the thing with the keeper. Watch this keeper come out to the ball. Now, when you're a keeper and you're put in situations like this, honestly, I always believe that it's never your fault. You can't do anything in this situation. If they score, they score. It's not your problem. You can mitigate that. Well, how do you mitigate that? You try to do the best thing you can by putting your hands on the ball, both hands behind the ball and holding on to it. You've got to try to hold on to it. He doesn't. Watch this. As this moves forward, he tries to punch this out the way. Well, where are you punching it to? You just keep both hands on it. That's all you can do. And if it gets a little bit away from you, well, it's going to get a little bit away, fine, but at least it's almost reachable. You're punching it away from yourself at this point, so you can't get hold of it. There's nothing you can do now. It's in no man's land. Now it's just a foot race. And as it comes in, Bosch, he goes, I think it's hilarious. Hilarious that he hits the post, comes out and taps it into the net box. Yeah, over and all. You can see Spurs are struggling with their injuries, but I'm happy that they're still playing their same system and doing it the same way, because that's exactly what I'd be doing. I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.